Good morning, guys. Listen, glad to have you here. Welcome to the market report for this Monday, September 24th, 2018. And there's an awful lot of things happening in the markets today. Listen, the trade tariffs are big, really big right now. There's stores across the United States that are squealing. They're saying, no, we don't want no more tariffs. They're a bunch of crybabies. They say, we don't want no more tariffs because it's hurting their businesses a little bit. Stores like Target and stuff. They're just squealing, you know. And but I mean, this is like cough medicine. It doesn't taste good, but it might be exactly what we need to get America up and moving again. I'll tell you, during the Bush administration, during the Obama administration, 2 terms of Obama, honest to goodness, Chinese were having their way with us. And behind the scenes, they weren't telling us out in the open, hey, you know, the Chinese are trying to take all the gold, hoard it for themselves, and use that as a tool in the financial system to wreck America. They didn't tell us what the plan was. They didn't openly tell us what the plan was. But behind the scenes, it's very possible that the cryptocurrencies are some sort of an answer to the Chinese's plan. This trade war might have been going on for a long time before we knew about it. Now we know about it because we're in the final stages. To try to thwart China from making all of us, making America a banana republic and turning all of us into debt slaves of China. China's manifest destiny. They want to basically take over the world. Well, maybe we don't want to be debt slaves. Anyway, there's an awful lot going on in the markets today, and I'm in agreement. I think that, I'm going to tell you straight, I think that these tariffs on China is going to taste bad at first, but ultimately, in the end, it's going to jack prices up so that America can be more competitive. The Chinese are going to go into an economic slump. America's going to start picking up if things can go the right way. But everything is just so topsy-turvy right now. There's so much pressure in the financial system from 30 years of unbridled borrowing, basically a credit, we're at the end of a credit cycle where people can't borrow anymore. They've saturated. And the whole thing is just, it's a powder keg. The whole giant world economy is a powder keg. The stock market is, been pumped up to the moon from what the Fed did from all these years of excessively low interest rates. These zero interest rate policy and negative interest rate policies were never meant to be used for a 10-year long period. It's okay to use it for a month or two to stimulate things, but then get back to a normalized interest rates. But we had this for years. And there's just so much I can't talk about it all. Anyway, I got to get into the markets here. So let's open up the charts and let's get right into it. And let's firstly look at cryptocurrency today. You know, 66.12 today. It was up around 6,700 all weekend. It's down just a little bit, but you know, it's got a solid floor underneath it. We're looking at the 12-hour right now, and what we're seeing is the floor. The floor is right around there. I got my thing right on the floor. The floor is around 58.70, more or less. Maybe 5,800 or 5,900. That's a floor. There's strong support down at those levels. She don't want to go past. She doesn't want to pierce past that and go lower than that. And right now, it seems to be maintaining this price pretty good. This price point up around 6,600 bucks. We're still in a bear market. We're not going to be out of this bear market until we go past 8,500 bucks. Once we exceed past 8,500 bucks, then I'm going to be out here. I'll be the first one to say, hey, you know what? I think the bear market's ending, guys. Okay? So now let's move on to cryptocurrency market capitalizations today. Now, I'm going to tell you what, guys. I've never bought any Ripple before. I want Ripple. I really want it bad. I don't exactly know what I'm doing, but here's my plan. To buy some Ripple, and then transfer it into one of those nano data those offline wallets, what's it called? Nano something or another. I can't think of the name of it. They're a little wallet about this big, fits on like a keychain. I'm going to transfer my XRP into one of those. And I'm thinking about trying to get maybe a couple hundred of them, of these XRPs, and transfer them into that. Because I see this as the wave of the future, even though I don't like it. Even though I never did like XRP, I think it's controlled or whatever. Still, their network's capable of handling 1,500 transactions a second. Compare that to 7 transactions a second for Bitcoin. But Bitcoin's got the Lightning Network. That's coming, and that's going to enable unlimited transactions per second. So between Bitcoin, between Litecoin, and between Ethereum and XRP, those 4 coins have got it all covered. They could cover the whole world. Those 4 coins, just those 4 coins, can cover the whole world in transactions. So we can use it even for paying for a cup of coffee. Or you can even do microtransactions on the internet if you want to tip somebody 2 pennies. That's all, just 2 pennies. You can do that. Right, the way it is right now, you can't tip somebody 2 pennies. It might cost you $5 to tip 2 cents. Microtransactions just don't work yet, but they will work when cryptocurrency gets in place. Microtransactions are going to work. Let's take a look at the silver price today. What in the heck is it doing? It's bouncing all over the place, but it should be going up. And the reason why it should be going up is got to do with the dollar, but it's not. In fact, it's fallen right now at this second a little bit, but it's only up 1 cent. Oh, what's 1 cent? When the price is $14.26, when the price is that cheap, it should bounce right back up to $17 or $18 like tomorrow. What in the heck's wrong with it? Anyway, let's take a look at oil prices. Now, if my theory holds true about this, the oil price now has reached the top of what they want it to go to. They don't want it to go too high. So now they'll probably squish it back down again, back down into the upper 60s or mid 60s. Because my theory is that they're keeping the price more or less, more or less between 65 and $70. And right now it's creeped up a little bit on the high side. Now we're talking about sweet light crude oil. Well, let's see if the Dow Jones is going yet. It says at close. Just a second. Let me refresh the page. At market open, 88.90. It's down 90 points today so far. 26,652. So it's the same peak as it was here when it was at its peak before, or back on the January 22nd. It's basically went through all this hash, and it's still the same as it was back then. It went through all that rigmarole. Anyway, this market's oversold just like it was back when it was in January. It was oversold, but now things are worse. Things are worse because the Fed has been withdrawing a lot of liquidity from the system. Now they're up to the $50 billion a month worth of dollars that they're actually sucking out of the system. And still, the dollar isn't going up all that good, considering how much money the Fed's sucking out of the system. Let's take a look at bonds and rates. Now, I knew these bonds were going to go up. I was waiting for it all summer. It never happened. Now it's starting to happen, and they're on the move. They're all heading up across the board today. We're up to 3.08. Now, you remember what I've been saying all year. Said it over and over again. The U.S. 10-year right here, when it gets up to 3.25, And heck, we've come a long way toward 3.25 in the last month or so, because we were down like 2.85 and now we're at 3.08. We've come 3/4 of the way there. We only got a short way to go to get to 3.25. When we get to 3.25, it doesn't mean an instantaneous stock market crash as soon as it hits 3.25. But what it does mean is it means that the stock market crash is primed. It's like when you prime a pump and you want to have water supply. You prime your pump, you pour the water into the pump. Then the pump's ready to start and you're ready to have water pressure. Well, that's the way with this market. It's primed when it gets 3.25 on the US 10-year. Then we're ready for our stock market crash. And we're at 3.08, well, 3.078 right now. It's fluctuating a little bit today, but it's up. It's up today and it's going up. That's my point. US dollar index today, 93.88. So the dollar's down. The dollar's had a little bit of a drop. Gold and silver should pop a little bit when the dollar's doing that, but no movement. No movement at all today. So I'll tell you, this has been your market report. What else to say? But I think that I'm a little bit beyond words because we're so deep into what's happening and nobody sees it. Things are starting to disintegrate around us, starting to crumble around us. But it would be kind of like a house. If a house was starting to disintegrate and starting to collapse, but it was still standing. So as long as it's still standing, nobody's paying any attention to it. They're not going to pay any attention to it until it completely collapses on top of them. That's sort of what I wanted to say. Listen, you guys have a great day today. Thank you for listening to my report. My audience is everything out there, and really appreciate you guys listening. And we'll catch you in the next episode. Bye-bye for now, guys.